What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. We got a lot to talk about. Of course, we haven't done this since, I believe, Wednesday, so it's been a few days. MLB Free Agency, we got Wade Miley. He goes to the Brewers, 1 year, $4.5 million, plus a $10 million mutual option for 2024. 2018, he went to Milwaukee and had a really good year. 16 starts, had an ERA under 3, was really good in the postseason. Had a fantastic season with Milwaukee that year. He returns to the Brewers. 1 year, 4.5, gives them some depth in their rotation. When healthy last year, Boston was good, but only made 8 or 9 starts when healthy. Last few years, he's been a pretty good option. If he can stay healthy, you can definitely have the Brewers in the back of their rotation. Seattle signs A.J. Pollock, 1 year, $7 million. Not a great year last year. Hit 240, hit 13 or 14 homers, had an OPS under 700. He's older, past his prime, but I think as a fourth outfielder, you can definitely survive him. So Seattle adds him. He'll probably come off the bench for them. Phillies make a move. They acquire Tigers reliever Gregory Soto. They also got Cody Clemens, whose father, of course, is Roger Clemens. He's a young outfielder. Had a couple calls to Detroit last year, and they give up Matt Vierling. They give up Nick Maton and a prospect. Maton's is a young infielder who can play all over the field, who's helped the Phillies off the bench the last couple of years. Vierling's is an outfielder, also younger. He played a bunch last year for the Phillies, and they give him a prospect. That's so 5-player trade. I think a good move for the Phillies. They lose some depth offensively, but they needed another bullpen piece. Now they got a guy in Gregory Soto who's been one of the better relievers in baseball the last couple of years, kind of falling under the radar. Just because he's played on the Detroit Tigers, who aren't very good. He had 30 saves last year, sub-3 ERA, was very good. He's got, I think, 3 more years of arbitration, so a very good move for the Philadelphia Phillies. Dodgers cut Trevor Bauer, which is definitely the right move. Dude, he's not a good person. He showed no remorse in his being with the Dodgers. He's not a good person, complete head case. They'll eat the $22.5 million. I can't imagine anyone's going to sign him. I hope they don't, because he's a horrible person. Padres make a couple of minor moves. They signed Brent Heim to a 1-year deal. He's a former top prospect. He came in with Tampa. Hasn't just not really worked out. A lot of injuries, been inconsistent. Hasn't even been that good in the minors. Didn't pitch last year. They bring him in for some depth, and they sign Adam Engel for a year as well. He's an outfielder. Last year, he hit like 212. He's not a very good hitter, but he's a good outfielder defensively. So they add some, see if he can make the team as maybe a 4th or 5th outfielder in San Diego. And Carlos Correa, this is what I think is going on with Correa. I think the Mets get the deal done. I do. I think he will be a New York Met. I think he will be in Queens. As a Met fan, I hope so, and I do think he will. I think the Mets are trying to restructure this deal to give them some protection in case Correa breaks down with his injury. I just don't think they think. I mean, they're paying him until he's 40 years old. They're giving him a 12-year contract. I just don't think they think they don't think he'll last 12 years, at least not at the level that he's at. Yes, every athlete eventually, tails off. However, even guys like Tom Brady, Tom Brady's tailing off. Obviously took him until he was 45. But, every athlete at some point in their career towards the end, isn't quite the same usually. I just don't think they're not sure if Correa will be able to physically play until he's 40 with this injury. If they were signing him to like a 3-year deal, a short-term deal like the Twins did last year, they probably wouldn't have a problem. But on a 12-year contract, I think the Mets were like, yeah, I don't know. I think what happened was I think Scott Boras was probably the one behind all the rumors. Teams are reaching out to Correa. Now Correa is starting to actually talk to other teams. The Twins are back in the mix because the Mets have all the leverage. Because if 2 long-term deals fall through for Correa, he is not signing a long-term deal with anybody probably ever. Not this offseason, at least. So we trying to gain some leverage. I think he did that. So then Steve Cohen fired back saying, yeah, we've heard that. We've heard the news. We're really frustrated. We might walk away. I don't think that's what they plan to do. I do think the plan is to get him signed. I don't think they're thinking about walking away. I really just think it's a leverage battle right now. I do think they'll get the deal done. Will it be 12 or 3 to 50 million? I can't imagine it will be exactly that. Maybe it can get to that with a ton of incentives, but per games played, but it's gonna look drastically different. But I do think Carlos Correa ends up with the Mets. Moving on to hockey, scores from last night. You had the Winnipeg Jets over the Canucks 7-4. Winnipeg Jets 26-13-1. That's the best 40-game start in their franchise history. Stars over the Panthers 5-1. Capitals over the Blue Jackets 1-0. Had the Penguins over the Coyotes 4-1. Blackhawks over the Flames 4-3 in overtime. Blues over the Wild 3-0. Thomas Greiss for 35-save shutout. Maple Leafs over the Flyers 6-2. And Bruins over the Ducks 7-1. Bruins are 32-4-4. That is crazy. Standings in the NHL. Starting with the Eastern Conference, you have Bruins are just running away with that. They got 68 points, most of the National Hockey League. In second, got Carolina with 57. Toronto also has 57, but Carolina's got a game in hand. New Jersey has 53. They're in fourth. Washington's in fifth. They got 52. They've got points in 9 of the last 10. My New York Rangers have 51. They are in sixth. Tampa Lightning 7th with 49. Pittsburgh's got 46. They're in eighth. Islanders also have 46 points. The Penguins got 2 games in hand. They got the Buffalo Sabres are won 8 of their last 10. All of a sudden, just 4 points behind Pittsburgh for the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. They're playing well. I saw a stat. They have 10 games this year for at least 6 goals. That's crazy. I don't know what's going on at the Florida Panthers, but they're 6 points out. They fouled out the Detroit Red Wings, Ottawa Senators, Philadelphia Flyers, Montreal Canadiens, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, which I don't know what's going on. They spent all that money on Johnny Gaudreau, and they are the worst team in the Eastern Conference by a country mile. 12-25-2. Ouch. In the Western Conference, you got Vegas Golden Knights in first by 56 points. So their goaltender, Logan Thompson, got named to the All-Star team. He's been a big reason why they're in first. Vegas, and they lost Robin Leonard. That team was a team that went from being a cup contender to a team that might not even make the playoffs because we didn't think they had a goalie, but Logan Thompson has stepped up. Kudos to him. In second, you got the Dallas Stars with 54 points. And third, the Winnipeg Jets with 53. In fourth, the LA Kings with 52. They're playing very well. Seattle Kraken in fifth with 48. Both conferences at this point are very tight, especially in the West. Minnesota Wild are in sixth. They have 47. Calgary Flames are in seventh. They got 46. Edmonton Oilers are in eighth. They have 45. Colorado's 2 points out. They got a lot of injuries right now. St. Louis is 2 points out. Nashville's 3 points out. And then you got the Vancouver Canucks and then the Sharks, Coyotes, Ducks, and the Blackhawks. 10-25-4. 24 points, worst team in hockey. And now all the trade rumors are going around for Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves. For college basketball, scores number 1 Purdue beats Penn State 76-63. Purdue continues to play well. 15-1 this year. Number 2, Houston against Cincinnati. Houston picks up a win there, 72-59. Northwestern upsets number 15 Indiana, 84-83. Maryland over number 24 Ohio State, 80-73. That's all the games we had last night. Official rankings haven't come out quite yet. Hopefully I get that to you guys tomorrow. NBA scores. Sixers over the Pistons, 123-111. James Harden, triple-double, 20 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. You have the Raptors over the Trailblazers, 117-105. Scotty Barnes, 22 points, 9 rebounds. The Raptors are weird. Sometimes they go out and they're like, wow, this is a great team. And then sometimes they just can't play basketball. Something is missing in Toronto, but they pick up a win over Portland. Indiana Pacers over the Hornets, 116-111. Miles Turner, 29 points, 9 boards, 4 blocks. Charlotte's been awful this year, 11-30. Wow. Nets over the Heat, 102-101. Kyrie Irving, 29 points, 6 assists. Russ O'Neal with the game-winning shot in the final seconds there. Nets have been the best team in the league over the last probably, I would say, 6 weeks or so. They've won like 20 to the last 24, something like that. Though Kevin Durant did get hurt in the game. He has a sprained MCL. He'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Shouldn't miss more than a month. But still, the Nets will be without Kevin Durant for at least 2 weeks. Grizzlies over the Jazz, 123-118. Desmond Bane, 24 points, 9 assists in that game. Timberwolves over the Rockets, 104-96. D'Lo has 22 points in that one. Thunder over the Mavericks, 120 to 109. Shotgun to Alexander, 33 points. Cavs over the Suns, 112, 98. Jared Allen, 13 points, 12 rebounds. I don't know what's going on in Phoenix. I know Devin Booker's hurt, but they're still a really good team. Something is wrong there. They are really struggling. They have also like 6 in a row. They're like game under 500. I don't know what's going on in Phoenix. Got the Hawks over the Clippers, 112, 28, 30 points, 8 assists. Clippers are also struggling. They've dropped back to 500. NBA standings in the Eastern Conference. Boston Celtics are 28 and 12, still in first place, and that's only a game out of first. They're 27 and 13, and 30 got Milwaukee, who's hit off a tiny bit, but still right there. Cavs are in fourth. In fifth, you got Philly. In sixth is Indiana. Seventh is the New York Knicks, my favorite team. Miami Heat are in eighth. Chicago Bulls are in ninth, and Atlanta is 10th. Those two teams are tied. Then you got Washington 2 games out of the play-ins, Toronto 2 games out of the play-ins, Orlando's 4 games out of the play-ins, 5 of the Charlotte Hornets, and Detroit Pistons. In the Western Conference, Denver and Memphis are tied for first right now. Then you got New Orleans in third, Dallas in fourth. Of course, they're hot right now. Sacramento in fifth, Golden State in sixth. They got back to 500. Clippers are struggling. They have lost 6 in a row, down to 7th. The Phoenix Suns have lost 6 in a row and 9 of the last 10. Our game under 500 jumped all the way to 8th in the West. Wow. Something is wrong in Phoenix. I know Devin Booker's out, but something else must be going on because they should not be this bad. Minnesota is in 9th. Portland's in 10th. We have the Lakers, who are actually won 5 in a row, or just a half game out of the plans. Utah's is a game out. They've really fallen off after a hot start. Oklahoma City is a game and a half out, and then skip the Spurs and Rockets rounding out the West. Week 18 in the NFL was as nuts as it could get. Chiefs over the Raiders, 31-13. Chiefs absolutely rolled them. They did a little, had that one player where they did the ring around the rosy. They had like Jerick McKinnon, one of the running backs. He set up in the shotgun. Then you had like Kelsey in the backfield. You had Mahomes playing running back, and like McKinnon took the snap, like flipped it to somebody, to the Kadarius Toney, who threw it backwards to Mahomes, then threw it back to Toney, who ran for a touchdown, was called back for a holding penalty, but the next play, Kadarius Toney ran it in, so it didn't matter. That was a very funny play, though. Chiefs probably were like, all right, we're going to win this game and get the 1 seed. Let's just have fun. Jaguars over the Titans, 20-16. Jaguars win the AFC South. They'll be the 4th seed in the AFC. Tennessee goes home. 7 straight losses to end the season. Got Falcons over the Bucks, 30-17. Tom Brady didn't play the second half. There was no reason to. They already lost him to recede. But the Bucks somehow win that god-awful NFC South at 8-9. Bills over the Patriots, 35-23. Incredible start to that game with Nyheim Hines with the kickoff return touchdown, the first play since the Damar Hamlin incident. Damar Hamlin continues to make progress. He's doing great. He's going to keep fighting. Crazy start to that game. Nyheim Hines had 2 kickoff return touchdowns in that game. That's crazy. You never see that anymore. Huge game from Nyheim Hines. They knocked the Patriots out of the playoffs. The Vikings over the Bears, 29-13. Yeah, but Texans beat the Colts 32-31. So Bears get the number 1 pick. Texans will pick second. We had Bengals over the Ravens, 27-16. Bengals, North was technically I'd already punched it because of the whole scheduling issue, but they officially punch it now. They'll face the Ravens again next week in the playoffs. Dolphins over just 11-6. That game was awful. A snooze fest. Dolphins, though, do win the game, and they will go to the playoffs. Jets, 7 for loss to finish the year. Another lost year for the Jets. Hopefully one day these Jets will figure it out. They got to get a quarterback this offseason, please. Panthers over the Saints, 10-7. Steelers over the Browns, 28-14. Pittsburgh doesn't knock it in, but Mike Tomlin, 16 straight years, no losing seasons. He's a great coach. Eagles over the Giants, 22-16. Giants didn't play their starters. Made the game, but Eagles come out on top. Eagles clinched the 1 seed. Giants seed was already locked in. That's why they didn't play a lot of their starters. Commanders over the Giants, 26-6. Dak Prescott was horrible. 14-37 for 128 yards, and he threw a pick 6. Yikes, and just 1 touchdown. Somehow, he played pretty well in that game. We'll see if he gets a shot next year for the Commanders starting quarterback job. If the Broncos over the Chargers 31-28, Chargers pulled their stars late in the game once they knew their seed was locked in. Seahawks over the Rams 19-16 in overtime in a back and forth game. You have the Niners over the Cardinals 38-13. Niners get they're the 2 seed in the NFC. And the Lions beat the Packers 20-16, meaning the Seattle Seahawks get the last playoff spot. And now all the rumors are circulating where Aaron Rodgers will be with the Packers next year. In fact, he may even retire. So, with the wild card round set, here are the matchups. You got the Bills hosting the Miami Dolphins. You got the Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar is, I'm hearing, might play in that game, but he also hasn't played in 5 weeks, so we'll see. And you got the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. In the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers will host the Seattle Seahawks. You have the Minnesota Vikings hosting the New York Giants. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Very interesting week of games for the wild card round. It is Black Monday today, when all day after the regular season, when all the coaches get fired. Obviously, Denver, Indianapolis, and Carolina already made changes during the season. The Arizona Cardinals have fired Cliff Kingsbury after 4 seasons. Less than a year ago, he signed an extension through 2027, but the dude had to go. He was not a good coach. Wasn't even that good as a college coach. No playoff wins in 4 years, just one appearance. He's out. Arizona GM Steve Keim also has stepped down to address the medical concerns. He wasn't that good of a GM either, to be honest. Hopefully he gets his health in order. He's had some health problems the last 2 years, and it's probably the right move for both sides. And the Houston Texans last night fired Lovie Smith. After 1 season, another one and done in Houston. I don't know what's going on in Houston, but it's not working. Not sure what other head coaches. We'll see what happens if Ron Rivera in Washington. You know, if Todd Bowles loses in the first round, could he go? If Mike McCarthy loses in Dallas, he's gone, and probably everybody else is gone too. Gary Jones is going to blow up that coaching staff if they lose to Tampa in the first round. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Josh McDaniels with the Raiders. I'm hoping they fire him. He's so god awfully bad, but they literally might not have the money to, so they might be stuck with him. And we'll see what else happens. The Cleveland Browns have fired their defensive coordinator, Joe Woods. He's out. They want to interview Steelers linebackers coach Brian Flores to be their D coordinator. I'm hoping he can get another job, be a head coach, but Browns are looking at him to be their D coordinator. And that's all I got for football. I'll do my game picks as I usually do on Wednesday. Let's actually recap Friday Night SmackDown before we close this thing out. We started off with the Bloodline, and Roman Reigns lost his temper with Sami Zayn, saying, you know, are you trying to be the tribal chief? And then Kevin Owens interrupted him, and then backstage, Roman apologized to Sami Zayn. Of course, in the main event, the Usos defeated Drew McIntyre and Sheamus to retain the tag team titles. Jimmy Uso, rolled up Sheamus, and then Jey Uso from the outside helped them out. You had Santos Escobar beat Kofi Kingston in a one-on-one match. Kofi got distracted from the rest of the Legado del Fantasma at ringside, and Santos Escobar picked up the win. You had Liv Morgan said she is entering the Women's Royal Rumble. Should be that announcement. You had Karrion Kross and Scarlett defeat Matt Cat Moss and Emma in a mixed tag team match. And then after the match, with Matt Cat already passed out from a sleeper hold from Karrion Kross, he put a ripped Rey Mysterio mask on Matt Cat Moss's. Rey Mysterio and Karrion Kross's rivalry continues. You had Sheamus. They just had a little thing with Sheamus and McIntyre where, like, in a pub, they took a trip to like memory lane, and then the banger after banger chant started. You had Charlotte Flair came out. She was cutting a promo, and Sonya Deville came out and says, let's see what you can do against a fresh opponent. Charlotte's like, fine, and she beat her no problem. I cannot stand Sonya Deville. I don't think she's a good wrestler. She's annoying. I don't like her at all. Then you had Lacey Evans. She had another one of those video packages with her from experience in the Army, and then her finishing move. Didn't care much for that. I'm not sure what they're doing with Lacey Evans, so we'll see where that goes. And then Ricochet defeated Top Dollar in a one-on-one match. Ricochet qualified for the Royal Rumble. They kind of appeared to squash their beef afterwards. They dapped up, but then Top Dollar and the rest of Hit Row beat the crap out of Ricochet until Braun Strowman came storming down the ring and scared them all out of the ring. That was Friday Night SmackDown. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.